What is up, everyone? It's Quinn here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going through my Week 3 top 20 quarterback rankings. Went through my running backs and wide receivers yesterday, quarterbacks in this video, tight ends, and defenses also coming out today. If you enjoyed, just do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe. But let's dive right into the rankings, and starting off in Tier 1, these are the two studs. It's Lamar Jackson, it's Josh Allen. Both these offenses are projected to put up points. Josh Allen kind of coming off a down week 2. I'm certainly not panicking. Lamar Jackson, 2 very solid games. Those are the tier 1 options. Then moving into tier 2, this tier doesn't feel as great as it did heading into the season. Jalen Hurts kind of a slow start going up against the Rams this week. He does lead all quarterbacks in carries, but the passing attack has just really been anemic for this Eagles offense. Jalen Hurts through 2 games only has 253 passing yards. That is certainly not ideal. Hopefully we see that turn around, but he's still going to have a lot of rushing upside, especially in the touchdown department. Then I have Patrick Mahomes going up against the Giants. Kind of an interesting thing through 2 weeks with Mahomes really opting to use his legs more. He's leading all quarterbacks in rushing yards with 123, also has 2 rushing touchdowns. Typically, he's been a quarterback that's going to give you like 350 rushing yards, a few touchdowns, and then he'll kind of turn it on more in the playoffs. With the lack of weapons, all the injuries around him, the suspensions, he is using the legs more often, which is definitely leading to him being a better regular season fantasy option. And then the last guy in this tier is Jaden Daniels. There's no guarantee he plays this week. He's day-to-day with a knee sprain, but if he does play, I trust that he's healthy enough to use his legs, which would definitely put him in this tier 2 area. Then moving into tier 3, going to start off with 2 guys in the same matchup. We have Caleb Williams and Dak Prescott. I think this game could definitely be high scoring. The Bears have the 3rd highest implied point total, and even though it's been an up and down start for the Bears and Caleb Williams, he's still the quarterback 10 in points per game. The passing production can be there. He showcased the rushing. I think he's a really nice option this week. And then for Dak Prescott, I just think he's playing at a really high level to start off the season. I like this matchup against the Bears. Through 2 weeks, they've allowed 28 points per game to the quarterback position. We just saw this defense get lit up by Jared Goff, I believe 5 passing touchdowns. So I feel really good about Dak in this matchup. Then I have Baker Mayfield coming off a very impressive late game comeback against the Texans. He's been solid to start off the fantasy season, like him as my quarterback 8. We have Justin Herbert here. Now, on paper, not the best matchup against the Broncos, but we did just see Daniel Jones have a really productive game against this defense. Herbert's been awesome to start the season. He is the quarterback 5 in points per game. And I think the biggest shakeup from last year is just this team's willingness to pass. They were very run heavy last year. It seemed like they didn't want to put a ton on Justin Herbert's shoulders. Maybe that was just the offensive philosophy, or, potentially the lack of weapons around him. But they have completely flipped the script this season. They are number 1 in pass rate over expectation. That is amazing, and, it's paying off for this offense, right? You have Ladd, you have Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston. All those guys have had really solid week 1 and week 2s, so feel great about Herbert, even in a not-so-great matchup. And then the last guy in this tier, I know it's only been 2 weeks. It's kind of a small sample size. Got to give some respect to Daniel Jones here. 29.5 and 22.8 points in his first 2 games. He's 2nd in passing yards. He's tied for 1st in rushing touchdowns at the quarterback position. Not overly terrified of this Titans defense. Daniel Jones will come in at number 10. Then in tier 4, I have Drake May coming off a nice bounce back week 2. Showcased the rushing upside a little bit. 31 rushing yards, added a touchdown on the ground, like him as a back-end QB1. Then I have Jared Goff, like I mentioned with the Bears defense, big week 2, 334 passing yards, 5 touchdowns. The Lions are 5.5-point underdogs in this game, probably going to be a pass-heavy game script, could rack up the volume. Definitely think he could be a playable option, even though they are dogs. Then I have Kyler Murray. Nothing really crazy special through 2 weeks. He's been fine. This is not the best matchup, but this is kind of just where Kyler's going to slot in, especially, in a not-so-great spot. Then I have Bo Nix going up against the Chargers. Rough week 1, nice bounce back in week 2. This is a tough defense, though. We saw them give Geno Smith some real fits, so I think he'll be fine, but I don't think he's like a priority play this week. And then the last guy in this tier is Jordan Love. I think the Packers are kind of in this interesting spot, at least offensively, where I wonder if they're just going to be in a ton of lower volume passing game scripts because of how dominant the defense could be. Like in this matchup, they're 8.5-point favorites. what's the Jordan Love, pass attempt number going to look like? They are going to put up points, though. They have the fourth highest implied point total, but Jordan Love's weapons did take a hit with the Jordan Reed injury. And then moving into the fifth and final tier, going to start it off with Trevor Lawrence. I do think T-Law is going to have some better games ahead. I think there's been, some meat left on the bone in these first two games when it comes to his fantasy production. Last week was tough. He had De'Ami Brown drop a touchdown. One of the interceptions probably shouldn't have happened. It was BTJ just making a major business decision over the middle of the field. And so I think there have been some clear positives offensively. I think the biggest, issue through 2 weeks is just the fact that almost everyone's been very productive with the exception of Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. If those guys can start to figure it out, I do think Trevor Lawrence could be a much better option moving forward, but it's also not a great matchup here against a very tough Texans defense. Then I have Michael Penix going up against the Panthers. Kind of a rough week too. Panthers defense, probably a spot where he could have a bounce back game. Then I have Aaron Rodgers. He has been solid through 2 weeks, looks pretty good. I'm really not scared of this Patriots defense. Fine, mid-tier QB2. Then I have Matthew Stafford. It's not a good matchup here against the Eagles. The Rams don't project super well for Vegas, but this is just betting on a good quarterback with good weapons, playing with Puka, playing with Devontae Adams. He'll be a fine option. And then we'll close it out with CJ Stroud. This could have gone to a few different players. I'm not terrified of this Jaguars defense. I do believe CJ Stroud's a good quarterback. It's obviously been rough to start off the season, but, not necessarily cake matchups in the first 2 weeks. But that is going to wrap it up for my top 20 quarterback rankings this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe. Questions, comments, feel free to drop them down below. Stay tuned for the other rankings. Thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.